What a fucking nick.
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and I do feel like videos like this are a little difficult to make sometimes because often you'll make a point about a multiplayer beta, then a few months later when the full game is out, that point now becomes invalid because of patches, hotfixes, and so forth. So we're going to kind of run through some notes that I have written down about the Black Ops 4 multiplayer beta. But first and foremost, even though we've only had just 4 multiplayer betas at this point in time, this has to be the smoothest beta that we've had. Yes, the Black Ops 3 beta was phenomenal. I loved it to death, but this beta is off the charts. I just extremely enjoyed the game. I've had a blast with my friends, and for everybody that's criticizing the game right now because of the time to kill, I'll be talking about that later on in this video, but let's look at what's great about this beta so far. First off, we have the maps. The maps we have so far look insanely beautiful. I have footage on screen going up of the little dynamic events that occur as you're playing. You can interact with certain mechanics in some of the maps. They look phenomenal. They play very, very well. I can't say that one of these maps really pisses me off and it's a map that I would like to avoid every time I'm in an in-game lobby. They all feel extremely fun. I can play all of them all day. In terms of the weapons now, all of the weapons feel like hybrids of previously released weapons. So, for example, the Spitfire almost feels like the Scorpion Evo from Black Ops 2 had a baby with the Vesper from Black Ops 3. Extremely powerful, very, very insane. The rump part almost feels like the Scar H from Black Ops 2 had a baby with one of the great SMGs from Black Ops 3. Once again, a nice hybrid right there. In terms of the weapon balancing, I will say that ARs could use a little buff. That's what I'll say right now, but we'll talk about the health and the time to kill later on, which does affect the weapon balancing a little bit. Now, in terms of the attachments, obviously we have the return of the pick 10 system. We all know how that works, but with some attachments, like we have high caliber 1 and high caliber 2. I didn't know initially that you had to equip both high caliber 1 and 2 to be able to use both on that specific weapon. I thought you could use high caliber 2 since it's an upgrade from the first attachment, but nope, you have to have both on there, and that probably was featured in Infinite Warfare, but I didn't play the game, so I wouldn't know. So learn a couple things here and there. I do feel like you have to have at least a little bit of knowledge of tactical gameplay from games like Call of Duty Ghost and Advanced Warfare, and then some knowledge of how the Specialist and those mechanics work from games like Black Ops 3. So in terms of the in-game lobbies, yes, the loading time sucks. It takes a little while, but Treyarch did put out a list of information talking about what they plan on fixing for the beta, and that was one of those problems. They're obviously going to reduce the time it takes to load into a game. You can't currently change your emblem in the beta. I was a little confused about that when we first hopped into a lobby. Everybody else had these cool emblems and I had this real basic one, but it's all random, so we'll be able to change that when the game actually comes out. I think the free cursor with the UI is very unique, and I think it's game changing, and I'm glad they did that because it's something different from what we were used to from Black Ops 1, 2, and 3, and even other Call of Duty games as well. So I'm happy with that change. Other people were complaining about it, but I'm happy they actually went ahead and took a risk with the in-game interface. On a side note, I've also been using the combat axe a lot since I unlocked it. I forgot which rank it was. I think it was 18 or so, and it feels a little different than the combat axe we had in Black Ops 3. It feels closer to the movement of the combat axe from Black Ops 1. It takes a little bit of time to actually take it out and throw it. Not like BO3 where you can just quickly throw it at someone like a ninja star or something. The second thing I wanted to bring up was the armor system. That has to be one of the community's biggest critiques about this game at the moment. But once again, before we talk about nerfing the armor system, we have to talk about whether or not time to kill is going to get touched a little bit, and whether or not some of the ARs or even SMGs are going to get a little bit of a buff to be able to counter that ability of the armor system. Yes, we have the armor-piercing rounds you could equip on a weapon, but let's say without using that armor-piercing round on your rifle, is there a way to better balance the damage a weapon does versus the armor system that many players will use? So before the armor comes time to kill and weapon balancing. That's just my opinion. It isn't the easiest game to play on solo. So first off, we'll talk about Control, a new game mode they added in, which essentially consists of either capturing 2 different points or eliminating the enemy team until they don't have any lives left. So It's different. It's not something we're used to from previous Call of Duty games, but when you're playing solo, you're probably going up against a squad of 4 to 6 people. I'm sorry, 4 to 5 people, since Control only allows you to have 5 people in a game. It's a pretty fun mode. When I'm playing with friends, we're dominating, we're doing very well, we're stomping the other team. It's fun, but when you're playing on solo, you're probably going to come out of there and say, you know what, this game mode sucked. I didn't enjoy it, and I just don't think it feels like Call of Duty. I understand that, but here's the thing. There's been a portion of the Call of Duty community since even before Modern Warfare 2 that's played with a full squad all the time, and they enjoy different game modes because they know they have a great chance at winning thanks to their supportive teammates. That portion of the community has slowly been rising over the past couple of years. So when devs want to incorporate things that you probably would see in games like Overwatch or Rainbow Six, you have a lot of casual players saying, wait, this isn't Call of Duty, it doesn't feel like Call of Duty, I'm not having a good time, it sucks. You're going to see that. So no matter what the devs do, you're going to have a divided community. At the end of the day, you're going to have that. There's nothing they can do about it. They can't guarantee that every single person in the world playing Black Ops 4 is going to be in a squad of more than 4 people. They just can't guarantee that. So we're going to have criticism all the time about these new game modes. But from a perspective of a player who was in a full squad playing Control, the mode was great. I tried it once on solo, and I could already see why people get upset with how the game mode works. I can see that, but there'll be weapon balances, there'll be some time to kill tweaks just to accommodate for those casual players who don't play in squads. That's what I'll say right now, but I also wrote down word for word, it's very driven by tactical gameplay, which I do like, but only when I'm playing with a squad who goes into each match with a set specialist and a specific game plan on how to win. Doing that in pubs is atrocious. So that's what I wrote down verbatim. You guys probably will agree with that. So let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Now, in terms of time to kill, I know you guys are dying for me to talk about this. It is a tad inconsistent. I don't think they'll change the 150 health, but they'll probably tweak the weapons a bit more to deal more damage and obviously allow you to heal better after getting burned by specialists like the Heat Wave or getting electrocuted by the Prophet, so on and so forth. Little changes like that are useful for the community, I should say, but drastically changing what they've built from the ground up in terms of the 150 health, the healing system, things like that wouldn't benefit the balance of Black Ops 4. That's just what I have to say about that. But people are making it out to be this terrible new system. It's not Call of Duty anymore. It doesn't feel like it. It plays like shit. You have to give the game a chance. Number one, judging an entire game based off little things like that before they've even been talked about by Treyarch isn't going to do you any good. Treyarch literally spoke about these issues a couple of hours after the beta went live, and they promised us an update. Treyarch is great with updates like that. Yes, they dragged on certain things with Black Ops 3, but there's a reason for that. It's because of the in-game engine limitations. They just couldn't fix everything that they wanted to, but now with the system they have incorporated with Black Ops 4, they can change things a lot faster. They can add things that we want, and we should be ready for that. But people were already judging the multiplayer beta and Black Ops 4 as a whole before Treyarch came out and said what they're going to be fixing. That kind of bothered me, but obviously you can't expect much from this community. You just can't. So time to kill, yes, could be inconsistent. I've had many gunfights where I'm like, I was at full health, I shot the guy before he looked at me, and I just didn't get the kill, and I hit every shot. But that's something to do with weapon balancing and maybe a little bit of hit detection. But time to kill is something we're going to have to get used to. What I'll say is I got used to the healing system after just 1 or 2 matches. I was just pumped to use it. I was ready to use it after every single gunfight. Even if I got shot just a little bit, I was using my health pack just to regenerate myself and move on to the next gunfight. That's the way I was playing, but other people were probably forgetting to do that and getting taken down very easily. They probably forgot to heal themselves, got into a gunfight with maybe 100 health or so, and got demolished. That's just what happens, and that's something we have to get used to. But I'm not going to go and say there's nothing Treyarch could possibly fix right now. Yes, there's plenty of little things they can tweak, but people have to relax with some of their criticism. They're going a little too far and immediately jumping back onto Fortnite saying, yeah, let's play a real game, this and that. It's ridiculous. That's just as I wrote down word for word here, when playing Black Ops 4, you can't always challenge an enemy in a way that you would probably challenge them in a different Call of Duty game. You just can't do it. I've had many deaths because of this, and a lot of people have as well, and they've realized, hey, you know what? I would have challenged this in Black Ops 3 or even World War II, but when I challenge that in this game, I just can't get away with it, and that's something we have to get used to. They've changed Call of Duty drastically, but at the end of the day, for a long-term game, it works, and it will work once the full game comes out with those little tweaks I talked about. I love being able to see how much health you actually have at the bottom left of your screen. I love that you can see your enemy's health when you're shooting them. Little things like that really change the game, and obviously you're going to allow for a great MLG experience for those of you who are going to be playing CWLs, etc. It is insane. What they've added is insane, but takes time to get used to. People are not giving Treyarch that chance yet to get used to these new mechanics, to let Treyarch tweak things and patch them accordingly. People are immediately judging the game before they even gave it a chance. So what I'll say is, look, once the full game comes out, once you've seen at least maybe 2 patches for multiplayer, then you can give this game a fair shot and give it a fair opinion, because right now people just aren't doing that. But last but not least, we have the specialists in game. So yes, time to kill does play a role with how these specialists work, but what I'll say is, if you know Black Ops 3, then you'll know Black Ops 4. There are some new specialists in there, like the Recon, who is very useful. Once again, a specialist that you're going to want to be in a squad when you're using him, because once you're talking to your teammates and communicating about where the enemies are, if you use that recon, you use that sensor dart, you're going to let them know where they're at. You're going to let your teammates know, hey, you got to go through this corridor or through this back door because all the enemies are sitting right there looking the other way. It's useful. The game is just insane. Other specialists like the Crash allow you to throw down assault packs, boosting the XP you get after you get each kill, which allows you to earn score streaks faster. Little things like that really change the game. Now, in terms of the fire break abilities, now that's where there's some problems. Now, they have to tweak the radiation ability just a little bit because that's a tad overpowered when he's far away from you behind a bunch of other walls and still manages to do some damage to you, and then it takes you a while to then take out your health pack and heal yourself. That's something they're going to fix, and I know they will. That's something that just, it's unacceptable at certain points in the game, and I know they're going to fix it. It's not a big deal. The Ruin, obviously, the specialist that I use the most, is awesome. Works just as well as the Ruin from Black Ops 3. Now, people have some criticism about the Tempest. Now, I do know that it was a little easier to use in Black Ops 3 and does require a little bit more effort in Black Ops 4. They might tweak that a little bit, but we'll just have to wait and see what they end up tweaking when it comes to the profit. But I also will put something on screen that I found very funny, which people are also complaining about and using this as an excuse to say, the game is rushed, it's copy and paste. When you look at this video, it's showing the Tempest from Black Ops 3. Obviously, it was a placeholder before they can actually develop and create a model of the new Tempest in Black Ops 4. Do you really think they were going to throw in the exact same Tempest from Black Ops 3? People still fail to understand that this game takes place in between Black Ops 2 and 3. So whatever you see in this game is before these specialists we saw in Black Ops 3. So obviously the Tempest might not be as smooth in this game as it was in BO3, because in BO3 it's years and years ahead of the events of this game. So technology advanced a little bit, and that's why we see a big difference in the Tempest. That's understandable. So this video right here is showing a placeholder for what they are eventually going to do. They may have completely missed out on adding the actual Tempests in this game in that video, and that's understandable and it's okay. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't believe people had to actually explain that here on YouTube. It is okay. Placeholders are put in many, many games, not just Call of Duty. I'm pretty sure for the new God of War, there were some placeholders in there for a little while. They had stuff from previous God of War games to just sit there to remind them that, hey, we're going to replace this with a new rendered model of X or Y or Z. That happens in games all the time, so relax. But that's about it for my initial review of the Black Ops 4 multiplayer beta. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. Are people giving this game a fair chance? Because honestly, when it comes to the solo players, they aren't. But there are some out there who are saying, hey, I'm playing solo, I'm doing just fine, I've gotten used to the weapons, gotten used to the mechanics, I'm enjoying it. Props to you guys who are giving this game a chance. But if you don't like it, if you really don't think this is the game for you, then I understand that. If it's too tactical for you, too tactical for your liking, I get that. That's why you probably will either not buy this game or you'll focus on Blackout and Zombies when the game actually comes out. I understand that. I completely do. But that's about it. This has been dkdynamite. Stay tuned in for plenty more streams of the Black Ops 4 multiplayer beta here on my channel. I'll try to post as many videos as I can later this week. Maybe some good gameplay, some news, some updates, some other criticism that I may have forgotten in this video that I'll think about while I'm in the shower later on today. So stay tuned in for all of that. Check all links down below in the description, and have a good day, everyone.
Mission mine is safe. Mercs think twice before trying that again.